What's up, everybody? January 21st, Sunday, episode 15 of the Sports Spectator podcast. The United States is freezing over. South Florida is a sunny and brisk, I believe, 50 or 60 degrees today. We got a special guest on today, Wu. I think I met this gentleman via the NFT craze going on earlier in COVID. Correct me if I'm wrong, but thanks for joining
Yeah,
and good to have you on.
man, that was a crazy time. It still is. And,
Yeah.
thanks for having me. You guys are doing an incredible job, man. Episode 15, that's amazing.
Episode 15, and you are also heavily involved in sports as well. I know that you've got a sports project coming up right now. So do you want to share any of your background kind of in this sports world, especially South Florida?
Absolutely. Well, first of all, my background, I'm a photographer in Miami. Um, I started doing just things from street and fashion and lifestyle stuff, and then I transitioned into sports, and then I was a photographer for the Miami Dolphins for about 3 years. Also the University of Miami, so I covered, their basketball, football, baseball. Um, and I've always loved sports, man. And it's just, I think Miami has one of the best teams, right? And I just wish we had a better fan base. I think that's something that Miami needs to work on. And but that's how I'm tied to the sports world, right? I love everything Miami. All my teams, my favorite teams are from here, except baseball. It's the Marlins. I love the Marlins. Home team. I got a rep. But in my household, it was always the Yankees. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And the reason why is because my dad is, one of the first Panamanians. I'm from Panama. Was one of the first Panamanians that was out there, and he was crushing it. Obviously, one of the greatest closers of all time.
Yeah.
So my dad was like in love with him. So it was always Yankees and Marlins in the house. So besides that, everything else is all Miami.
Wow. That's a fun fact. I didn't know that he's from Panama. So he must be an absolute legend, icon in that country.
They, man, when he goes, every time he went back, it was just like, it was crazy. They did everything for him, and I mean, yes, they did everything for him. But one of the best things is that he gave a lot to Panama, and I think that was one of the most important things of why he was so loved over there. Because he gave so much to his community, creating academies, for kids to play and things like that. And I think that was a huge success for him over
Wow. Big shout out to Mariano Rivera. Juan, I don't know. I mean, that was an interesting introduction. I kind of want to talk on some of the photography stuff, or should we go into the Dolphins?
Oh my goodness. I wish we had more time during the day. I wish there were more than 24 hours because I feel like Woo, first and foremost, thank you so much for coming on. I am super excited to just talk shop with you. Again, we have an incredible agenda for today. I can just tell from the original, the OG Florida Marlins hat that, like us, you are an absolute diehard South Florida sports fan. So I am just
there. Absolutely.
super hyped to get into it. I am super excited for us to go through all the good takes, all the bad takes, all the controversial takes. I'm super duper duper hype, man. So yeah, boys, with that, let's go ahead and get into it. Again, big shout out to today's very special guest, Woo. Make sure that you check out. So I know, Woo, you have a podcast that you're also working on yourself.
Yes, I'm right now. I'm working on a podcast called The Major Upside. It's going to talk about, it's really about sports, culture. Um, I want to, tie it into sports media too. Like I want to definitely talk with other creators, other like photographers, videographers. I feel like they don't get the love, and I feel like it's something different that I can bring to the table where I have that connection, right? So I want to bring that in, and also leadership because I'm also, into business, and I'm always chopping it up and listening to other leaders, right? And how I can get better. So I feel like there's a lot of leaders in the sports world that people don't really recognize, whether it's behind the scenes or team staff or team personnel, like let's say a GM or something, right? That have knowledge that they want to drop, whatever they want to give to us. So that's kind of where I'm go with it, and where I'm going with it.
Dude, man, I absolutely love that. I mean, I think You mentioned it a little bit earlier that South Florida, it's an incredible sports town. But I think right now we tend to get a reputation where most South Florida sports fans tend to be more bandwagon fans, more fair weather fans. So I feel like all of us here, we have, I want to say, a collective effort in that we really want to show not just the rest of the country, but really the world in general that Miami and South Florida as a whole, like we are a sports town. Like a lot of the times people think like Boston, that's a sports town. Maybe LA, that's a sports town. And again, we want to be in that same conversation. So I absolutely love what you're doing. I'm super hyped to listen to your podcast. I love the name, by the way, Upside. I always feel like that's a term that you hear a lot. Like during the draft, people say like, "Oh, yeah, this individual has a lot of upside." I'm a little bit jealous that we didn't think of it first, but that is, I love the title, man. Yeah, bro. So once again,
Appreciate it.
yeah, of course, man. We of course love collaborating with other individuals that again focus on the South Florida community. So with that being said, guys, let's go ahead and get into today's agenda. So as always, we're going to talk about,
Let's do it.
let's do it, baby. We're talking Miami Dolphins, we're talking Miami Heat, we're talking Inter Miami. Again, a lot of takes for you guys. Super excited for this episode. So let's go ahead and start off with the hot topic that obviously the most trending thing that is occurring right now is the NFL playoffs. So as of the time of recording this podcast, the Ravens, AFC, absolutely destroyed the Houston Texans yesterday. And again, the Ravens, of course, destroyed the Miami Dolphins a little while back. And honestly, man, they really seem like they are the team to beat, man. I'm not really seeing a team that's looking any hotter than they are. Let's get into it, boys. What do you think, Ravens?
They're rolling, man. And for me, I think during that the whole big trust era, right? I think they should have gone to the Super Bowl at that time. So I feel like they've been fighting for it. And yesterday's game, it started out slow, and I was like, man, this looks like the Raven that's gonna, fall again. And then all of a sudden, that switch from Lamar came, and he's, running 2 touchdowns, getting everybody back up, and so I see them, and once they focus like that, because their defense, you can't run against them. They're it's just they're like a brick, a wall, a brick wall. So it was exciting to see. Like once he stepped it up, boom, and I don't see anybody stopping him. To be honest with you, not in the AFC East, and maybe if they play the 49ers like I think they're going to do in the Super Bowl, I think that's going to be a great matchup because it's going to be a great offense versus great defense. So
Yeah, man, it's gonna look electric. I mean, here's a fun stat that I actually just read about that apparently in the modern Super Bowl era, there's been 6 instances where a quarterback has thrown for 150 yards or more and rushed for 100 yards or more with 2 touchdowns or more.
that's
Of those
crazy.
6 instances, Lamar Jackson literally owns 3 of those instances. 50% of the times that has happened, this one individual, Big Trust, owns 3 of them. That's crazy, man. And right now, he is literally the front runner of the MVP race. And again, I just sincerely cannot make an argument against him. Yeah. Again, I hate the fact that he destroyed the Dolphins, and I hate the fact that they're going to be going to the AFC Championship game. Obviously, I wish #that was us. But again, I love seeing sensational teams, and I love seeing. I mean, we've talked about it on this podcast a couple of times, like Lamar Jackson, all of the adversity that he faced. Coming out of Louisville, everyone called him a running back. They said it's like he can't throw, he doesn't have the quarterback mentality. So seeing the guy thrive, and again, he is, I'm fairly certain, I'm going to say with confidence, I'd have to double check, but I'm fairly certain he actually is a South Florida native. So that's
Yeah,
kind of
he
our
is.
dog. He is. Okay, awesome. Thanks
Yeah.
for confirming that. So that's sort of an argument that we can make as South Florida sports fans that, again, even though it's not the Dolphins, he's playing for Baltimore, always love to see a South Florida native making it that big. So yeah, absolutely there with you, bro.
I think Florida breeds great players, right? And he's just another one that just happens to just be taking over the mantle for it. And right now, he's crushing it. Like you said, I can't. There was a point this season where I was like, "Oh man, there's a lot of MVP runners." We have McCaffrey, you have Tyreek Hill at one point, you had Tua that you were throwing in there, and then all of a sudden he just ran with it. And right now it's absolutely no denying. You know, even the other coaches, Coach Ryan from Houston yesterday was like, yeah, this is why he deserves the MVP.
Yeah, man.
Like he just got his ass kicked by him, so he knows.
Yeah. Real respect's real, bro. Like it's as simple as that. But all right, so obviously we love, or I guess not necessarily we love the Ravens, but we respect their game, if nothing else. But the other big AFC matchup that we have is Bills Chiefs. So what dog are we taking in this fight? I want to say naturally we're taking the Chiefs because we don't want to root for our divisional rivals in the Bills. But John, Woo, what do you guys think about that game?
Fuck both these teams, but I'm taking the Chiefs to cover. That's what I'm going for. That's my dog in the fight. But
okay,
yeah, I hate this game.
If somehow both teams could just lose, if that was an option,
yeah, it's miserable.
We would take
I wish the Bengals were there. I wish just someone else was there, man. But yeah.
Oh, dude,
I absolutely hate the Bills, man. So I will never root for them. I'll never root for the Bills. I'll never root for the Jets. You won't find it in me. But this is one of those games where I would like to see it after it's done. I'd like to see the stats in Twitter or wherever because I'm not gonna watch that game. I really don't care for any. I don't care for any of them, and I just live with the result of whatever happens, right? But I'm just hoping that whoever it is, the Ravens just whoop that ass because um, I hate the Bills and I kind of don't like the Chiefs. And not that I don't like the Chiefs, I'm kind of tired of seeing them all the time. Seeing Mahomes on all these commercials, like, yo, I'm done. I need to see somebody. I get it. He's the face of the NFL. And it's awesome, but I'm done with that. I need something else.
Yeah, bro.
I'm trying to figure out what is the preferred NFL storyline here because both teams work. That's how I'm just imagining every matchup now in the playoffs. Like, who would the NFL prefer? It's like Lamar Jackson makes sense, but this game's interesting because if the Bills win, Josh Allen has that resurgence of the golden boy, and then if Mahomes wins, yeah, it's the face of the NFL. So it's which one do you think they prefer? Who do you think they prefer, Juan?
If I had to put money on it, I feel like the script writers would probably want the Bills because of the whole Damar Hamlin situation. I don't know. They'll somehow plug that into a second coming. I don't know. Obviously, Easter's around the corner. They'll find a way to kind of they'll find a way to connect that somehow and just been it's the Bills close to Christianity potentially. We're not saying it is, but potentially I could see that happening just as a crazy marketing stunt. I don't know, man. That's just my take on it. Yeah, I hope somehow
I'm all in on that take. Yeah, I'm all in.
It could happen, dude. Vegas, I feel like they would love that as a script. Obviously, the NFL would love that as a script. I don't know. Everyone says that at the end of the day, all of these games are rigged. They might be, they might not be. Who knows? But I feel like that's probably what the NFL wants. They're going to end up winning at the end of the day because it's regardless of who wins that matchup, there's a storyline that they can money off of. The only ones losing here are us Dolphins fans, where
I'm gonna have to go the other way. I'm gonna say the Chiefs, and only because they're gonna milk the Taylor Swift thing, and they're gonna keep milking it until the end. This whole season, they're just gonna milk it. So imagine if they make it to the AFC Championship. She's up there, and obviously they're always gonna put the camera to her.
Yeah,
and it's gonna bring ratings, and you're gonna have the Swifties watching the game. Viewership is going to jump up, 15% because of her. So that's what the NFL wants, and they want to keep riding that until the end of the season, and hopefully, and I don't know if next season too, but right now they're just riding that horse, and they're gonna keep riding it. So,
I got two takes from that. So this game is actually the rebirth of Damar Hamlin versus Taylor Swift. That's the real fight. And then on top of that, imagine going to the viewership, Travis Kelce proposal to Taylor Swift at the AFC Championship or Super Bowl. Those are big numbers right there. Yeah. I mean, damn.
Could you imagine, bro? I think the internet, the viewership, all that would break.
Literally, yeah. It'd be the Kim Kardashian picture, but
Yeah.
Taylor Swift and Travis
Yeah,
Kelce.
dude, I could see like the corniest pickup line just being like, "Baby, I'm not the only one getting a ring this season."
Yes. Oh my god.
That was perfect.
Yeah, dude, but bro, to John, exactly to your point, I hate both of these teams. Like, I'll root for Russia before I root for the Bills or the
wow.
Chiefs, man. Like, yeah, I can't stand it. It's one of my most popular takes on this podcast is I am a hater first and a fan second. But yeah, man, like
We're
I
officially
just
on the federal watch list now.
yeah, I mean, we've said some
Yeah,
pretty wild things.
you're gonna be on a no-fly zone come Monday
Oh
morning.
yeah. No, 100, bro. Some of the things
No
that we've
flight
said on
rule.
this podcast, like I'm surprised that when I've gone through TSA, they haven't like pulled me on the side. And they're like, "Yeah, you've been making some questionable takes on the internet. We'd like to have a discussion with you." So if it hasn't happened already, it will 100% happen after this podcast. Like I'm fully prepared. Latino guy, frequently flying to and from Colombia, making takes about Russia and all of this is. Yeah. So I'm cooked. It is what it is. But yeah, man. Yeah, bro. Bills Chiefs. We'll see how that goes. John, I still agree. I think Chiefs covering the spread. Last time I saw them, they were covering. They were at +6. Is that the line you took, or I don't know if that
It
changed?
should be even higher. Luckily, I think I got like 7.
Oh, it went up. Okay.
I did it the other day, but
they're definitely gonna cover.
Yeah.
Whether
I
it's
think
6 or 7 doesn't matter. I think they're gonna cover for sure.
It is Patrick Mahomes' first road play. Like I actually thought this was a bonker statistic.
that's crazy.
It's his first road playoff game. Like
That's
aside,
insane.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah,
that's
like
crazy.
aside from the Super Bowl, where technically last year they were the away team. Like this is literally the first non-Super Bowl playoff game where the Chiefs will be wearing white, which is their away. So this is sort of a legacy game for him if you think about it, because first playoff game, not at Arrowhead. Like how will he perform under the pressure? I don't know if State Farm has a policy for that. But the premium is probably really insane. I don't like State Farm though; they are a terrible insurance provider. So they will not be sponsoring this podcast. I'm sorry, Geico. Yeah, Geico all the way, baby. Like this is a Geico preferred podcast. I do not like State Farm. Terrible premiums, awful coverage. I'm sorry. Anyways, back to football. Yeah.
If Andy Reid wasn't a coach, would Mahomes still be as successful as he is?
Ooh, that's oh man, wow. All right, we just tacked on 40 minutes to this podcast. Oof. Okay, that is a tough one, man, because it's sort of like a chicken and the egg debate. Because you can kind of compare this to the whole Belichick and Brady thing of like, was one better without the other? And obviously, in that situation, Brady left New England. He won a Super Bowl.
We saw that dismantle Belichick right now. I mean, he's unemployed.
He is.
You know what I'm saying?
He's unemployed. Like Mike McDaniel still has a job. Belichick at the unemployment line, though. So who statistically is the better head coach? I don't know. I think the guy that has a job.
So UPS is hiring.
Yeah, they are. 6-figure salaried off the bat. Not bad. I'm going to go ahead and say that I do not think Patrick Mahomes would be as successful without Andy Reid. Just because I'm looking at his track record prior to the Chiefs, he had a pretty successful run with the Eagles, even prior to the Chiefs. So he knew what he was doing. Like they drafted him for a reason. So I think he saw a specific potential in him. Had Patrick Mahomes been drafted by, let's say, the Chicago Bears, probably would not have been as good. I feel like when you first start off in the NFL, you do need a good coach to develop you. And that's when you can, I mean, look at the Packers right now. Jordan Love, like the guy, everyone questioned why he got drafted. And now suddenly the guy wins 1 playoff games. And all I saw on Twitter today is that he is expected to be like top 5 highest paid in the league, which is insane to me.
Insane.
Like this is the equivalent of literally getting an A when you do nothing as part of the group project. Like the rest of the
I mean, it's a more deserving deal than Deshaun Watson's.
That is
100%.
That is true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was terrible.
That
It's funny now though, because it's like that whole conversation with Joe Flacco, like after that playoff game, now it's like, well, wait a second. Is this still like, what do we actually think here?
that is tough, man. But I will give a shout out to Jordan Love. Like, he does have a nice touch on the football. Such a nice touch, in fact, that I bet Deshaun Watson saw that touch and was like, I want that as a massage. Because that's
Who would you rather have?
You
Who would you rather have? CJ Stroud, Jordan Love. Yeah, who would you rather have between? I was going to say, or Deshaun Watson's masseuse, but I was like, no.
I'd rather have Tua. Tua all the way. I don't care.
You pick Tua over all of them?
Oh, yeah, dude. I'm picking Tua over all of them.
I like that.
Yeah. Like, I don't care what numbers they put up, dude. I'm sticking with Uno, bro. Like, he's my guy. I'm ride or die. Until management or McDaniel decides to move on from him, he is my guy, and he has my full trust. Until they,
I just think it's crazy. And here this goes back to the Mayweather, fans that we have. Like how everyone wants, not everyone, but I saw on Twitter a lot of people who wanted him out, and I'm like, dude, he literally had, one of the best TV seasons we've seen. Like, yeah, we had, we didn't make it to the Super Bowl like we all expected it, to me. But dude literally had one of the best QB seasons that Miami has seen. And they want him out, they want McDaniel out, and I'm like, we're so spoiled, man. We are so freaking spoiled as Miami fans, and you guys suck, And anybody watching this that said that, you suck, dude. You suck. You're one of the worst fans, and just I'm a CFU, bro.
I'm a big believer that a lot of those fans were people that came on board like right around 2020 when we first got Tua, and they have not seen some of the mediocrity, and they have not had to deal with some of the pain that us more, experienced Dolphins fans have had to go through. I mean, we've had to see, Jay Cutler, Brock Osweiler, Ryan Tannehill, who I don't care what anyone says, he was ass. He was straight cheeks. Terrible players that now we get a season where we get double-digit wins, go into the playoffs. Again, we were expected to get more. Some people were saying we were going to have the number one seed. Me, obviously, included. I made that take on this podcast. So, yeah, man, a lot of those freaking people, and I know exactly the takes you're talking about, that, like, we lose that game and everybody wants them out. And you got to be like, whoa, pump the brakes, buddy. Like, you look at the numbers. What are you talking about? Like, we got to improve a couple of things, but, like, he is our guy. Like, we have to put our trust in him. So 100% could not agree with you more there, Woo. 100%.
They don't watch football, the ones who say that, honestly.
Nah, dude, it's the Twitter warriors, dude. Like Drake said, trigger fingers turn to Twitter fingers, and that's these guys. So still on the topic of playoffs. So I think we obviously were in agreement. We hate the Bills, we hate the Chiefs, but as Dolphins fans, who are we sort of rooting for? I will personally say, we talked about it actually on our episode last week. I'm personally rooting for the Lions. Hashtag One Pride. They got my fandom ship for the remainder of the playoffs. John Woo, I don't know about you guys.
I think I'm going with the Lions as well. I'm also going for the Ravens, but I'm between the Lions, Bucks on that side on the NFC, and then AFC, yeah, Ravens for sure.
Take it. What about you, Woo?
Man, I think there's just great storylines, right? Like the Bucks, you have Baker Mayfield. Like, Baker Mayfield is what we thought Johnny Football was going to be, right? Johnny Manziel. We thought that was what he was supposed to be, and just his comeback story. And I lived in Charlotte for about 3 years. I lived in Charlotte when he came to the Panthers, and I was like, I felt so bad for him because he went through 3 teams in 1 year, right? And it was just insane. So just to see him come out, with the Bucks, and just he's a gunslinger, bro, and he's the type of person who asks questions later. So I like that. I love the line, man. That Campbell is one of the best coaches I've seen. If you ever get a chance, man, go on YouTube, look at his speech, look for his speech, and the dude just fires you up. And it's crazy because I had no idea he was part of the Dolphins coaching staff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, why would we release someone like that,
Mm-hmm.
Like, this guy is on fire, bro. And I would run through a brick wall for that dude as a coach. So there's a lot of storylines for me. I think as much as I hated that they beat us, I would like to see Lamar win a chip before his decline, right? Like the guy's in his prime right now, but the window, especially nowadays, bro, where you have people asking for trades and the team can change like this. So windows are very small. Every year, anyone can win it. Because of trades, because of cap space, because whatever, right? Because somebody, you bring a rookie up and he's all of a sudden a Pro Bowler. So a lot of things can happen. A lot of things can change. It's like they always say, any given Sunday.
Any given
So
Sunday, baby.
for me, I'm going with the Ravens to win the whole thing. I love the 49ers. I love Brock Purdy. I like his story too. That's another great story as well. I hate the hate that he gets. As he's a system quarterback. I'm like, yo, dude he's just a quarterback. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he has great players around him, but he still needs to make it happen. So I was happy to see him yesterday. I think that was a legacy drive for him. Come back in the game and put him to score, and you saw CMC scored. So I think I'm really loving these playoffs. To be honest with you, my team's not in it, but I'm enjoying it. The only thing I'm not enjoying is this Bills and Chiefs game. I wish it wasn't there, but everything else, it's been awesome, and I think Ravens going to take the Super Bowl.
I hope so.
Okay.
I'm a Cowboys fan, and I can't stand the 49ers. And I have a really good friend that's a huge 49ers fan, and I just don't want to see him win a chip in my lifetime as his friend. So go Ravens.
Okay. So I feel like our ideal Super Bowl then, the Sports Spectator branded Super Bowl that we are rooting for is Lions versus the Ravens. Sounds like it's our ideal one. But yeah, man, Woo, I think to your point, so many great storylines, like regardless of what team you look at, there's just something cool. Yeah, man, Baker Mayfield, I love that story. And I mean, you couldn't have said it better. He literally is what everyone wanted Johnny Manziel to be. The guy's faced some serious adversity, not just 3 teams, but I think he's technically had like 8 different coaches, technically all throughout those tenures. Yeah, man, obviously Lions, Jared Goff, a city that they didn't win a playoff game like, 30 years since their last one. Just so many great storylines, but couldn't agree more.
With Jared Goff, I also like that he's playing with a huge chip on his shoulder.
Oh, big time.
Like
big time, bro.
huge, he was so happy. I know he celebrated when he beat LA.
Oh, yeah.
Because that was like, take that, like toma. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, dude, 100%. I mean, yeah, everyone wrote him off. Former number 1 round pick, which actually, funny enough, I just realized that tonight, Jared Goff and Baker Mayfield are 2 former number 1 round, first overall picks going against each other. So, yeah, dude, that's another storyline.
Yeah, they're playing right now.
Yeah, you're right. Yes, they are. Oh my
Supposedly,
goodness.
the guy that was talking shit about Baker Mayfield not being a good quarterback just tipped him off. CJ Gardner. That's gotta hurt. Speaking of hashtag, Juan,
yeah,
I was laughing at this subject the second we started the show with these ones that you put here for the future hashtag that the Dolphins will soon need.
Oh yeah, man. I'm excited to get into that. Yeah, I wanted actually to move on to our next agenda topic, which was, just let's focus a little bit more on the Dolphins. Obviously, playoffs, a lot more to come. Again, super excited with all of the outcomes. But yeah, man, speaking a little bit about the Dolphins. So, Woo, I don't know if you heard about this recent news, but apparently the Miami Dolphins are retiring their hashtag fins up, which was sort of their go-to, motto for pretty much everything. Apparently, Margaritaville has a copyright on that motto. So the Dolphins, because of that, obviously not create any issues. I assume they're going to be generating some type of motto. But obviously, before they get the opportunity to do that, I wanted us to take some time in this episode and see which one that we could come up with. Now, I have a few ideas that I want to share with you guys, but I don't know if you guys have given that any thought. So, Woo, John, have you guys thought about that before we go into the ones?
I got one. I do want to say, I'm not gonna hold my breath. I don't think anything's gonna happen with the whole fins up. I think we're still gonna use it. There has been, well, maybe I'm wrong, but there's been no official statement from the Dolphins saying that they were going to release, like, stop using it.
That
And
is true.
Margaritaville has had that trademark for a while, and they've been, what they were saying is that they've known that we use it and stuff like that. I think this was just somebody picked up on it, put it up on social, and then everyone just ran with it. I think it's official that that it's going to be retired. With Twitter, when you use those hashtags and you get the little the little logo on
The
the
little
side,
logo, yeah.
you're paying over $1 million.
Mm-hmm.
Or it all depends on how big your followers are, right? But for teams, from what I remember reading, most teams are paying over $1 million to have their team logo on a hashtag, right?
Wow.
So I think when and a lot of teams, they remove it after the season because you're not paying for it, you don't need it anymore, things like that. Which is why I get mad that UM doesn't pay for it, and because I would love to see a U logo, but whatever. That's another story. So having that hashtag, I think we're not going to get rid of FinZone. But if we were, the hashtag that I was thinking was, and this is going to be just maybe temporary for the next 2 or 3 years, or to however we extend to it when we do. But take us to a Super Bowl.
Ooh,
I like it.
bro!
I can't take credit for it because I saw that saying somewhere on Twitter, but I'm like, that should be a hashtag, and that's it.
Dude,
Nice.
I love that. I think I was in a fantasy league sometime back, and I think actually that made me think of someone's name that they have, which was Tua Infinity and Beyond. That's what it made me think of.
That's fire.
Yeah, but I do love that. Take us to a Super Bowl. Oh, dude, the merchandise sales that would go on that, just like having that across the chest, legendary, bro.
Yeah,
that would be crazy. I'm a big fan. I think that gets my vote, but I want to say one of the ones that I thought of with, which I was uncontrollably laughing my ass off when I thought about it. You guys ready for it? I would go with hashtag about to eek. Like how dolphins go eek eek. Hashtag about to eek.
Oh man, that's actually good.
I got nothing compared to yours, Juan. You gotta just keep going down your list.
All right. So I'll keep going down. I'll keep going down on this. All right. So we have two pretty good ones right now. So take us to Super Bowl, about to eek. The other one that I came up with was hashtag bottle noses up. So instead of fins up, we're just taking another part of the dolphin's anatomy and just saying the bottle noses up. That's what I thought of. I was like, all right, we'll just pick another body part that the dolphin has, like not the flippers, not the fin. Let's go with the bottle noses.
Dude, and dorsal's up. That's the dorsal fin. Dorsal's up.
Dorsal's up, yeah. Yeah. So I guess any body part of the dolphin, flipper, blowhole, that's probably not good. That's probably
I won't
not
be
great.
using that hashtag.
Yeah, probably not that.
I'll tell you that much.
That was real at the bottom. But yeah, maybe any body part of the dolphin we could probably use flipper, yeah. But yeah, bottle noses was the one. Because then I thought, I'm trying to spin zone it, and it's just like, well, a bottle nose, and then like if you really want to like fuck up an opponent, you can like like use the bottle nose. That's where I was thinking at. The Dolphins probably won't go with that one, but I figured like Twitter could probably have fun with that one. I'm actually surprised it's never been used before, but yeah, I thought of it earlier, so that was my thought.
I think if they really want to just keep it simple, just put fins on with a PH.
Yeah. That's pretty good. That literally as simple as that.
It's really just not simple. If they want, if they're going to get into a legal battle, that's not going to be worth it to pay, millions to Margaritaville of all things. Like, you don't freaking think about Margaritaville when you think about fins up. Like, come on. But if they do, I think PH, fins up we'll be just fine, man, and we'll be all right.
I could see that. Yeah. Yeah. I'm because to your point, Woo, that is a good. I never even thought about it because this headline we just picked it up because we saw it trending. We saw a couple different like accounts, like Dolphins accounts on Twitter. They started picking up, but you're absolutely right. Like the Dolphins never made any sort of official statement, and now it got me thinking. Now I'm almost going through this rabbit hole in my head that with the passing of Jimmy Buffett, because obviously Jimmy Buffett was the owner of Margaritaville, and I know Stephen Ross, he was actually pretty good friends with Jimmy Buffett. So now I'm thinking, now I'm going all X-Files, trying to think to myself, it's like, all right, yeah, exactly. Like, what's the connection there? But who knows? Like, that might be one of those situations where it's just like, hey, these are questions that you don't want answers to, buddy. Like, you're going to end up in a world of hurt if you ask too many questions. So the last one, John Woo. Oh, John Woo. That's actually funny since that's an actor. The last hashtag that I had thought of, and I'll give you a little of a backstory. So I don't know if you've ever heard the Chicago Bears. They were formerly called the Monsters of the Midway. That was a thing they had going for a while. That was like in the 80s when they had, essentially the best defense. And actually the Dolphins lost a Super Bowl to that same Bears team. But that was a name that they had, Monsters of the Midway. So I rolled with that, and I thought about the fact, well, Dolphins are mammals, so maybe hashtag mammals of the Midway.
That one's a no for me, dog.
Okay,
I'll take dorsals up.
Okay, well that is why that one was at the bottom of the list. That was just like me literally shit posting on the agenda when I thought about that one. So I think the first two that we mentioned would probably get our votes. So hashtag take us to the Super Bowl and hashtag about to eek. I think we'll go ahead and throw it.
Take us to a Super Bowl.
Take us to that's it. Yes, take us to a Super Bowl. Exactly. Yeah. I love it. But we got to talk about what are our biggest needs during this offseason. I mean, Woo, do you have anyone that you could foresee the Dolphins getting as part of like potential free agent, picking anyone up? And I guess more importantly, what do you think the needs are that the Dolphins should address this offseason?
I think for one, I think the main thing really is defense. Man. Like, there are so many things that we have to do. I think we need to sign or franchise tag Christian Wilkins. We lost really four, but three of our edge rushers, right? You have Phillips, you have Chubbs, you have Van Ginkel. I don't know how to say his name right. I always think of the Ace Ventura, the Ace Ventura movie every time I hear say his name. But we lost all those people. And, only a handful of them are signed. And we need to, make sure we get it back because the defense, right, it was ranked 7th for the most sacks with 56. I mean, they had the highest sacks in franchise history at 56. And I think that front line, if we don't make sure that we don't get Wilkins back, have those edge rushers, we're definitely going to have a problem for sure. And then on the offensive side of things, obviously everyone's talking about Tua's, are we going to sign him an extension? Are we going to pay him the $50 million? I love Tua. I don't know if it's worth $50 million. I don't know if we need to give him, and I highly doubt they will, but I don't know if we need to give him the end of this current contract here that he has and then see what from there, right?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like he has earned an extension. I just don't know if I'd pay the $50 million for it. You know what I'm saying? And one of the problems that, like, people are having with McDaniel is like, is he doubling down too much on Tua, right? Like, meaning, should he move on from him? I don't personally think so. There's a lot of talk out there saying that they should, but because I think we're all burned from Adam Gase, right? Like, he had a first round pick in Tannehill, and he doubled down on, like, he doubled down and we got burned for it. He wasn't the guy. and he did a move on from it, and that's why he has his job too. I mean, aside from many other countless stupid things he did, but um, I think on offense we need to make sure we need to fix something with Tua. I don't know what that's going to look like. I think everything else we have pretty much covered. Our O-line is really was injured most of the year. Like we never really had the same front for more than like 3, 4 games. Like it was always moving. So it's tough to have an offense like that, when you have new people coming just jumping in and out, you know.
I agree. I agree 100%. It's tough, bro, and I think you hit the nail on the head right there. I 100% agree with the defense. And actually, after seeing how the Ravens and the 49ers both performed yesterday, I feel like one dire need that we need is we really need some more solid linebackers. I feel like that is an area where a lot of teams don't seem to invest heavily in. But here we saw two teams that invested heavily in that position. Ravens, perfect example. They got Roquan Smith. 49ers, they got Javon Kinlaw, and they got the linebacker that made the pick yesterday to basically seal the game for the 49ers. So I think we're seeing that that's an area that the Dolphins are very weak in, that we could definitely improve. I don't know if it's by picking someone up. That might be in the free agent market. Right now, I can't think of a name. But again, it might be something that we address during the draft. Potentially, I know this specific draft is very, very defense heavy. So I think there is an opportunity there. More edge rushers, that obviously could not hurt. Again, if we get to the draft and the best player available is an edge rusher, 100%, I feel like that is a big pickup. The O-line, that's probably my biggest need. And it's more being able to get someone who is a solid backup in the O-line. Because our O-line was very, very good when we were healthy. I mean, I remember the first couple of games, like the Dolphins didn't allow a single sack. So we were good when we were really healthy. But obviously, as those starters started going down, we did not have the next
Drop
man
like
up.
flies, bro.
Yeah, literally, like Tua just started getting destroyed. Like, thank God he was taking those judo classes because, like, you could see he like legit learned how to fall when he was getting sacked. Because
My
otherwise,
man was a black belt, boy.
oh yeah, bro,
He's like, you're not getting me.
dude, he was doing rush hour 4 like on the field basically like during every single snap. Like, so I feel like those are my biggest needs personally. I think we're perfect in the wide receiver category. I think we're good there. Running back, I'm hearing rumors that maybe Derrick Henry. I mean, we posted about it earlier this week. Derrick Henry went on the Bussing with the Boys podcast for Barstool Sports. He said that he wanted to go to Miami. So potentially, I mean, we get a three-headed dragon there with A-Chain, Mostert, and Derrick Henry. That would be incredible. But yeah, O-line and defense, those are my biggest needs right there. And to your point, Wu, the topic of Tua, as we can see, has been very, very, very polarizing in pretty much any forum. Whether you're talking about it on Instagram or Twitter or even in person, everyone seems to have a very polarizing take. Either you're someone like, I would say us, where we say, no, I think Tua is our guy. He needs to improve a couple of things, but we're happy sticking with him. I would also agree with you that I don't necessarily think he deserves right now like a contract in the 50 million to 60 million or even 40 million a year type of situation. But again, with Jordan Love now potentially being a top 5 highest paid QB with winning one playoff game, maybe the QB market has like completely changed, and I'm just not aware of some of the metrics that go into it. But he's our guy. I agree. I need to see a little bit more before we give him that type of extension. But yeah, I agree 100%. We keep him. So it's going to be
I mean, look
interesting.
at Dak, man. Dak got a crazy. Dak's failed all the playoff games.
Dak
And
sucks.
last year he got a crazy extension. So I don't, like you said, I don't know what's happening in the market, but I think Jordan Love's contract is definitely going to put eyes and on a lot of the quarterbacks moving forward. So
Yeah.
like, for me, I want my son to be a quarterback now. Like, I'm like, yo, you better start learning, like my future son, right? I'm like, you better start learning either baseball or you get nothing but guaranteed money, or you become a quarterback because it's insane the money that they're getting.
Yeah, bro, you got to just start getting him, shotgun formation, pistol formation, start working on the handoffs. And, bro, right there, even it seems like anyone now can get $50 million a year. All you got to do is win one playoff game, and now you get to command that type of money, bro. So, yeah, 100%. Like,
bro, I honestly did not know anything about Jordan Love till about like 2 months ago.
yeah, he came out of nowhere.
No idea who he was. You know,
Literally came out of nowhere. And I think, John, your guy, Dak Prescott, I don't know why it happens, but I feel like another reason why I don't want Tua to get paid, and you can call me, pessimistic, you can call me paranoid by saying this, but for whatever reason, every single time a quarterback gets paid, they literally just fall off a cliff, and I don't know why. So
I think it's
I'm probably
psychology.
yeah.
I feel like it's the same thing as like regular work. Like if you're getting just like a huge raise but not getting any other responsibility, it's like you have nothing, right?
There's
That's
nothing
what's
to worry
happening.
about.
Like, it's like I'm doing
bro.
the same job. It's not like I was a manager before and now I'm like chief financial officer. It's like, nope, still the quarterback. Still got my blue belt, jiu-jitsu belt, Tua Tagovailoa. No, but all jokes aside with that, like I think this upcoming season is the next season to really kind of see where Tua stands. Just franchise tag him, see where you go from there. We need to build the O line up again. We have 3 offensive linemen that are unrestricted free agents this offseason.
Yeah.
So I say load up again one more time and let it rip. Derrick Henry, come on in,
Run it
fill
back.
up the defense and run it back. And then from there, we can go from there. But I think you said it last week, Juan. Like this is if you get rid of him, it's just you're claiming rebuild, which who knows? These other teams have been having these special circumstances like CJ Stroud, the Texans, and DeMarco Murray, the Mika Ryans. But I can almost guarantee you that will not be us. That will not be how the Dolphins season goes in a rebuild. So,
yeah, it's on that Derrick Henry train.
Oh yeah,
100%.
I'm all in. I'm an Alabama alum too, so I want the Tua jersey. I want the Derrick Henry jersey. Stock it up on Alabama pride, baby.
What John doesn't mention, because he's a very modest individual, but he's actually boys with Derrick Henry. There is a picture of him floating around on Instagram where they're literally just hanging out because John, Bama alumni, he was there when Derrick Henry was also there. So they're boys. That's John's boy. I'm sure after this podcast, Derrick Henry's going to text him like, "Yo, man, how'd the episode go? Like, give me a shout out." And John's going to be like, "Oh my God, bro, this guy's so needy."
I'm hooking him up with my realtor. We're looking for properties right now for him. So he'll be here.
Yeah, that's the take that the rest of the media won't tell you. But we got the inside with Derrick Henry, so he'll be in Miami. We will make it, Matt. We'll make it happen.
I like him. I think he's a great for third down. Also goal line. That's something I feel like that we struggled in. Because I love most of them. I love HA. I'm so happy with having them. Most of 31. This is the best year he's had. Will he do it again next season? I don't know. That's to see. So I just don't want to pay leg for Derrick Henry. You know what I'm saying?
That's
and especially he's at the end of his career. And not to say that he doesn't have left in the tank, but he's definitely towards the end of it. So I'm not trying to pay the guy a crazy amount of money.
Yeah, man.
That'll be a really interesting is tough. A really interesting negotiation with any team he goes to for that exact reason. Like I would say he is the anomaly where he will live past the usual tread for a running back just because of how much of a beast he is, and he's very diligent in his workouts and stuff and staying in shape, but still it'll be interesting to see where he ends up and for how much and how often.
Yeah, our cap situation, for lack of a better term, we are in cap hell. I mean, we paid Tyreek Hill a boatload of money. Jalen Ramsey paid him a boatload of money, and we're not going to be able to keep everyone. So another polarizing debate that you're seeing on Twitter and all other platforms discussing sports is who do we let go? Because we can't keep people like Xavier Howard. We can't keep people like Teron Armstead.
He's gone, bro.
Yeah, he's gone, bro.
I wish he wasn't because I love the guy, and he has the most interceptions in the last 6 years.
Yeah.
So losing him is going to be a big hit. But bro, I think it's 47 or $49 million over the projected. So That's insane. They're
Cannot.
gonna cut people, and there's gonna be cuts out, for sure. So
Yeah,
I'm expecting a heartbreak a little bit.
it is. But I feel like the best we can do is just put our faith in McDaniel, put our faith in Chris Greer. I'm a big fan of Chris.
Everybody hating on Chris Green.
I was just about to say that. It's a lot of people really genuinely dislike him. That's also another polarizing individual in like the Miami Dolphins community, which I don't understand because I'm here thinking like he got us McDaniel, he got us Tyreek, he got us Jalen Ramsey, like all of these incredible pieces. Like it's not his fault that we couldn't perform during the wild card round, but like he has done his
Yeah, he
job.
did his job, absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's just crazy to me because like I'm looking at the last 3 years prior to that, right? Who did we sign that was that crazy? Like, and this year, like for me, I was surprised when we got Tyreek, and I was surprised when we got Jalen. So I was like, yo, Chris Greer is killing it. And then everyone was giving him praise, everyone was giving him praise, and then now we lost, everybody just shitting on him, saying he needs to go. And I'm like, Miami fans,
Good.
Miami fake fans, again, like
Most
just like last year. Oh, Pat Riley, he needs to go. Spo needs to go, and it's like, dude. We just went to the, Eastern Conference Finals. Like, come on,
yeah.
shut your trap, man.
Most spoiled fans in the world, bro. But again, I feel like we're trying to change that narrative and show us that we're not spoiled fans. We are just passionate fans. We just deeply care about our team. So that's the spin zone that I'm trying to give it. Because I'm fully there with you, Woo. That some of these people saying it's just like, oh, clear house, clean house, and it's just like, whoa, like time out. Like we've been doing pretty good, man. Like there's room for improvement, but again, the second you start clearing house, you are signaling rebuild, and I don't think that is where we are. We still have a good 2-year window, in my opinion. So they
Fair
have
enough.
all my faith this offseason, and whatever they do, I support it. If they draft, only long snappers in the draft, I'm gonna be like, all right, I don't really
Punter.
get. I don't really, like long snappers and punter. I'm gonna be like, okay, I don't see the science yet, but hey, there's a reason I don't work for the Dolphins and these guys do. So maybe
Yeah.
they're seeing a vision. But whatever they do, I will support it.
I gotta say, during this conversation, I've had my reality change a little bit. Like, I'm actually kind of a little bit pessimistic now. Just like listening to you guys talk and like looking on like the cap tracker. It's like to Greer, the GM's like point, like he did the new GM meta. He loaded up, he got the team ready to win now. They didn't win. And as you saw with like the other teams that have done that, like the Rams, for example, it's been like 2-3 seasons since they had that run to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So I don't know. All I know is that we need to draft people in this draft that can play now because, yeah. And then the reason why I started getting like a little bit suspicious on that is that we need an O-line, and no like O linemen that get drafted play at a high level to start. It's like a 2 to 3 year development at least. So I'm a little nervous. I'm officially nervous. Bucket we ball, but I'm nervous.
Fuck it, we ball, but very, very timidly.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. I'm also a bit worried. Do well, but I think other teams around us are getting better, and it's just like, we need to make something happen. I think, to you guys' point, the O line is huge. It's important.
Yeah.
The season before that, we were still worried about the O line. We were worried about his blind side because he was getting annihilated. And obviously having the concussions and stuff like that. And, oh, is he going to stay? Is he? He should retire. And I'm like, all right, chill. Like you're going a little too far. And yeah, it's insane.
Yeah, man. I feel like we're not gonna get all the answers on this week's episode. Maybe next week we will figure out all the answers, but yeah, man, I think the one thing we can probably agree on is that it's a very mysterious road. And I feel probably the best advice that we can give anyone listening to this that might be in the same boat is try not to think about it too hard, because I feel like if you start looking, I mean, John literally right here started looking at the cap situation and just went full pessimistic. I think the best thing you can do is don't look at cap numbers. Try to stay away from the negative, press, and just try and have faith, man. I feel like that's been my approach. I'm just like, namaste, whatever happens, happens, bro. And I'm just trying not to get stressed about it. It is what it is. Or at least
I have a
that's
good way to lead this subject in a positive note. The Bills are in worser cap hell than we are. So that's a nice takeaway.
I think
all right.
Stephon Diggs is out of there
Oh,
next year.
100%. If
Come
they
to
don't
Miami.
we could not afford Stephon
Yeah, no,
Diggs.
we could not.
I
We could
I
not.
would love that. But unless that guy like wanted to get paid in like pastelitos and croquetas, there's no way we can afford that guy. Like I don't know, bro. They would have to pull like what the MLB did with this guy and somehow agree to like defer his payments, which I don't even think in the NFL you can do.
Yeah, you can't do that.
Yeah, can't do that. Yeah. Best we can do is just stay optimistic. But changing topics a little bit, we definitely got to talk about Inter Miami. So I know, Wu, you're a big Inter Miami soccer fan in general. So John, I'll let you take this one, bro, because I know you're a much more Inter Miami fan than I am. What do we want to talk about? What are some of the headlines?
Yeah, so the season's officially started. Well, it's the preseason, but the first game Luis Suarez played last night in El Salvador, which use your imagination on that one. That's the most random preseason game I think I've ever seen.
I think the whole preseason is random. I just saw what they have left, and like Saudi Arabia. I mean, they went from El Salvador to Dallas. I think they're playing Dallas today. To then go to I think Saudi Arabia to play 2 games and then somewhere else. So it's
Yep.
super random, super
Yep.
random.
They're definitely playing the get as much money as we possibly can make by shilling Suarez, Messi, and the rest of them across the world. But yeah, like you said, they're going to Dallas next, and then they're going to Saudi Arabia, which is actually really exciting. And I say that because they're going to be playing against Ronaldo and Neymar's team. Obviously, they're not playing there, but I'm super excited for that. The bad news, of course, that came out of last night because it was a horrible game. I watched some of it and it was just miserable. Cool atmosphere, obviously, like Central America, South America football match is beautiful. Everyone's excited to see Messi, but it sucks. 0-0, and we had an injury with Farias tore his ACL. Scored 3 goals and 2 assists last season. He was going to be a big star this year, 21 years old, so that hurts. But on the bright side, I guess more time for other people to shine. But what do you think is going to happen this season, Wu, on the Inter Miami side? What is your outlook for the results?
First of all, I think having all these players and now that Suarez is here, it's bringing so much money to the team, to MLS. Like even outside, right? Like when I saw when the buses were going to El Salvador and all the people that were there, I'm like, yo, that's crazy. So it just shows you that soccer around the world is just it's a growing sport, and it's something that we need to grow here in the States. And Messi and bringing all these people is actually doing that. So I'm excited for that. I think, I'm hoping that I know they got other commitments to, their teams and stuff. Because I feel like when Messi came, like he played some games and it was great, and then he was off like 2, 3 games, and then he played again and he was off another 2, 3 games. So I felt like we had a chance last season to like slide into the playoffs if he had played like 1 game that he was sitting out. So I wanted to see this season and all of them play a substantial amount of games to get us in position to win or to compete really. And then I like these in season, you know, trophies that they have, right? These tournaments that they have. And just like how we won one of them, I think it would be great if we continue to do that.
Oh yeah, we're Team Messi quad here. We're going for every trophy that we play in. We're going for it. That's my optimism. That's my perspective. And to your point, as far as like playing, like I agree, and I think that these guys will. I think they're going to run themselves into the ground this year because like I think they all know this is kind of like their one shot. Like we're old, we're here together. This is our first full season and probably going to be their only full season because yeah, I think and I hope they give it their all. They run themselves in the ground and they get the results that we all want out of it. And have a happily ever after into the sunset of the Copa America and World Cup. But yeah, I'm optimistic and I'm excited. So
I think there's a lot at stake here, bro. It's not really just Inter Miami. I think it's MLS in general. I think there's, this is um, for all the marbles, bro. It's to get all these kids excited about playing, to get all the sponsorships here in the U.S., to get all the subscribers on Apple TV. Like, there's a lot of money riding on this. You know what I'm saying? Especially all
yeah,
the money that we gave Messi. I don't even remember the money that we gave Suarez and Sergio and what's the third one?
Jordi Alba.
Jordi Alba. That's a lot of money, bro. And
Yeah,
we're still building, the stadium. You know what I'm saying? That's supposed to come in, I think, 2025 or 2026. I just passed by, yesterday, because they're building it where there used to be a golf course. And I'm like, I remember seeing the renderings to the place, and I'm like, yo, this place is going to be rocking,
yeah.
right? But in order for there to be rocking, people need to fall in love with MLS. And I feel like this is the year. Last year was like a appetizer, right? Like Messi came, it was amazing. That's great, but it wasn't a full season. So this season, I think having all of them together, like you said, I think this is a one and done, at least for having all four. I think Messi's going to be here maybe one more year, um, and then we'll see from there. But I'm excited. I'm dying to go to a game. I haven't been to a game yet, so
They're lit. They're lit.
yeah, I'm super
So
excited.
I have a take that I think you guys might or may not agree with. But just because we started this particular portion of the podcast talking about Inter Miami's playing in El Salvador. So I don't know if you guys follow the president of El Salvador on Twitter, but I do. And and when that game was happening, he posted a photo where he was in the locker room with the team, and there was one specific photo where it showed his back, and then Messi was looking somewhat near the camera, which I thought was the craziest crossover. I did not have that in my 2024 bingo card. But here's my theory. So El Salvador was, I think, still is the only country where BTC is widely accepted as a normal form of payment. And the president of El Salvador, Nayib Bukele, hopefully I'm pronouncing that right, is a huge proponent of Bitcoin as well. So I'm a big believer that there's potentially some attempt to try and pump Bitcoin a little bit more, because if you look at it, it's been way up in the past 3 months. Their first game was in El Salvador. Nayib Bukele, huge proponent of El Salvador. One of their other matches will be in Saudi Arabia, another nation that is slowly but surely beginning to adopt Bitcoin. And there's been rumors about Apple, Apple having a big stake in the streaming rights for the MLS that they've been trying to implement in the past few months, has also been trying to adopt BTC as a form of payment. So in my mind, I'm here thinking like, there's a connection there somehow. But again, maybe all of these weird matches that are occurring might be an attempt to get the price of Bitcoin up. So in conclusion, we should probably start loading up on some more cryptocurrency as the season progresses. That's my take on that.
Messi BTC.
Could be.
I'm all in on Bitcoin. I think it's definitely going to be the future. So I'm excited to see it.
Yep.
Go into sports as well.
I mean, the SEC did recently approve the cryptocurrency ETF. So it's an interesting future. I fully agree. I'm invested right now mostly in BTC as well as Ethereum. So there's a future there to be had. And maybe MLS and Messi might be a part of it. Who knows? Again, not financial advice, though.
I like those takes. So that's interesting. Like you hear about in like the financial terms and stuff like that, but yeah, you don't really hear about it in sports. You've heard some athletes taking like their paychecks in Bitcoin, not recently, but some years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, it's one headline away from being like a huge talking point, I'm sure, in regards to that. So that'll be something interesting to kind of track moving forward. Yeah.
I think we're a few years away from it. I want to say like anywhere from like 3 to 5, honestly.
I think so, man. I feel like we're about to be at a cusp where there just has to be some sort of paradigm shift there, where it's going to become, it's slowly but surely becoming a lot more widely adopted. I mean, before the Hard Rock Bet app, I was getting all of my betting payouts via cryptocurrency. You know, when I was doing it illegally, but yeah, eventually my crypto wallet got flagged, and it's just like, hey, we've been noticing some interesting transactions. Don't be doing those anymore. But yeah, no, I fully agree with you on that one, man. Boys, yeah. So our last topic for today, yeah, man, we got to talk about a little bit of Miami Heat here. So the biggest headline that happened recently was that the Miami Heat retired Udonis Haslem's jersey. So he is a very interesting figure. He actually played at University of Florida, which is where I went to school. He was Miami born and raised. You know, he's been with the organization for close to 2 decades, I want to say. And then on recently got his jersey retired. They had a whole thing. They raised it up in the banners. So really cool to see, man. I mean, I think if there's a guy that I want to say I don't think there's a guy that embodies Heat culture more than UD does. Absolutely sensational. I mean, he was here for all 3 championships, played a pivotal role. And you can definitely tell who is a new Miami Heat fan whenever they say, oh, Udonis doesn't deserve that. And it's just like, nah, bro, you obviously don't know ball, because the way that he contributed to the Miami Heat organization, like he left a legacy, he mentored a lot of the younger guys. So I was really happy to see it. What I was not happy to see was that on that same night that they retired they hung his jersey up in the banners, they lost to Atlanta. So in the most typical Miami Heat fashion, of course, a very special night for a very special player, the Heat drop one to a fairly mediocre Atlanta Hawks team. So
1 point.
by
Insane.
1 point, literally.
Insane. I think it was a great night, man. It was a beautiful thing to honor UD, man. He's been such even off the field, if you look at the stuff that he does off the field for the community, um, it's been such an amazing thing to see him. I've been to some of his events, like with his foundation and stuff. So I've seen it firsthand, and he's just a great dude overall, man. And for me, if you look at it, like, I don't think you're going to see many teams put up banners for it, because he's not up there because of his stats. Like, let's keep it 100. He's not up there because of his stats. He's up there because he put everything on the line. Like, he gave it all every single time. And even financially, like, to get the big 3, he took a pay cut. And this is from somebody who's not a superstar. Right? Like, usually they ask superstars to take a pay cut for somebody else. Like, this is somebody who was, I mean, he was getting paid millions as well, but he took a pay cut to get everybody on board. So, and not just once. He did it, I think it was 2 times or 3 times. So I feel like this is a thank you as well from the Miami Heat, from the Harrison family. Like, thank you for doing what you did. We see you, we appreciate you, and we want you to know that you're going to have, like, one of the highest, honors in Heat culture by having your jersey up there. Again, you're not going to get a statue, but you're going to get your jersey up. Like, there's only a handful of jerseys up there. And, like, let's be real, there's other players that have played with us who have been better, and they're not going to get their jersey up there. And there's other players and other teams those teams are going to put their jersey up, and they're better players than us. This is an honor for an all-around player, an all-around man, like an all-around community member. Like, this is, I think, to me, was like a thank you for all that you've done in this city.
100%, 100%. I mean, don't think you could have put it any better than that. Yeah, he's up there, again, as messed up as it sounds, not because of the box score that he was putting up game to game, but yeah, literally it was because of what he embodied and what he did for the organization. I mean, that level of selflessness, it's probably going to be more rare to see in the league. A lot more players have a much more, me mentality rather than a we mentality. He was a guy that you could make an argument always put the team and the city before himself. So I 100% agree. I think that's really the reason. But even then, when you go back and look at the tape, he was filthy from mid range. He was a
Yeah,
baller. Like at his peak, he like was a fucking baller, bro. And you cannot, tell the story of Miami Heat basketball without including UD. People think the Heat, obviously they think Shaq, Braun, D Wade, now more recently Jimmy Butler, but you cannot tell the story of this organization without talking about UD. And anyone who says that he did not deserve his jersey to go up in the banners, again, like I say this phrase a lot, but in that particular case, like you do not know ball. If you're
you
saying
suck.
that like you just do not know ball, you are not a real Miami Heat fan. And I please go back and ask you to look at the highlights, look at the tape, and check yourself at the door. So 100%
Dude,
couldn't
he's
agree
one
more.
of 3 players that have been with the team for 20 years.
Yeah,
There's either Kobe and Dirk. That's
yeah.
it.
That's
And we're talking about
literally,
Hall of Famers. You know what
mhm,
I'm saying?
yeah,
So, is he going to be in the Hall of Fame? I don't think so. But I feel like this is his Hall of Fame, right?
exactly, bro.
So I'm good with that. I'm absolutely good with that. And I know he is as well. And I'd love to see him at the end of his career as with a leadership role, trying to get all the young people, going and stuff. I used to hate it because I'm like, man, put UD in. Like, this is, garbage time. Like, put him in, let him play. You know what I'm saying? But I know he was really there just to mentor people. And I'm okay with that. And seeing him now transition to, in the podcast world, I love his new show, man.
Yeah,
The OG show. I think it's great.
it's good.
Hearing his stories, and I love when he was like, talking about F Boston, and to me, I'm like, man, I love this guy, so I'm all for it.
Yeah, man. It's love to see it, love to see it. But the last topic that we want to talk to you about, Woo, just to get your thoughts, since we're on the topic of the Miami Heat. But the one thing we do got to address is, are we making any moves before the February 8th trade deadline? Do you see us getting anyone? So I'll start off that conversation by saying I'm on board with one of the stories that I've seen trending recently, and that is that DeJounte Murray from the Atlanta Hawks supposedly coming to the Heat. I would love that. I think that is a stellar addition. So that's probably my hottest take on that topic. Do you have any thoughts on that?
I like it, and I love, and I think Jonathan Murray is like a really cool dude. I saw one podcast he was on. I'm like, yeah, this is somebody I would chill with. Like, he's super down to earth, super cool. Um, and he plays really good, So for me, um, if I had a wish list, right, is to have, and I had this before the season, was Donovan Mitchell.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think that's going to happen, but I was hoping that was going to happen. Like, obviously, we all wanted Dame. I don't know if you guys wanted Dame, but I
Oh,
wanted Dame,
bro.
you know? So I was like,
Juan
yeah,
was
we're getting
devastated.
Dame. Yeah.
Bro,
I
you
was like,
can you
cool.
can ask John the day that the headline broke that he went to Milwaukee, because you can go back in some of our older content, and I was just pushing the Dame to Miami agenda as hard as anyone else. So when the news broke out, um, I think I probably could have had like a family member pass away, and I wouldn't have been as upset. That probably sounds really fucked up, but I think just to
Mhm.
emphasize how heartbroken I was. It was so bad that now I don't believe any rumors anymore, like that I see floating around on Twitter. Because, like, I swear to God, it's never a true off season, and it's never a true free agent season until you see that pretty much every player like Miami Heat always has interest in. And I no longer buy into anything after the Dame news. So DeJounte Murray is probably the one story that I'm latching onto right now, but even that I'm not getting my hopes in. Donovan Mitchell, I mean, that's another one that even before he went to the Cavs, he was another one that supposedly was going to come to the Heat. So that's 100% on my wish list, but I agree with you. Um, you know, I don't know how much I feel about it. To you know to kind of conclude my point on that, Barry Jackson, who is a big in the media for the Miami Heat, he always trends whenever this happens, because he tweeted a while back where he literally said they love their team except reality. Like, that was literally something he said, and that is just always something that I come back to anytime we talk about this. It's just like, hey, the Miami Heat, they love their team, We're not picking up any fancy superstars. It is what it is, accept reality. And that's just what I'm living with now.
They're great at developing players, right? And we saw that last year when we had, you know, all those role players become like stars. So
Yeah.
I'm not one of those that's like panicking, like, oh man, Pat Riley needs to go, Spo needs to go. Like, no, I feel like we're one missing piece away. Like, right now, we're in a good position. I feel like we're one little missing piece away. And maybe it is the junket. I don't know. But I think we're going to definitely not only challenge, but surprise a lot of people at the end of the season. When it's time to go into the playoffs, I really feel like even with the squad, well, fully healthy, right? Because we haven't had like a whole like full healthy couple of games altogether. Jimmy Butler's been out all the time, uh, toe injury, and um, so I really feel like once healthy, I think we're gonna be a problem. How deep we go, I don't know. I don't know if it's you know Eastern Conference Finals deep again, but definitely want to beat the shit out of Boston. I hope that's somebody that we play, and I want to destroy them. Right now they're number one, and I want to just I want to destroy them. I want to end their I want them to go home crying, thinking like, oh man, this was our year. Like that. I want to hear them say that this was our year. We should have been. I want to see all the Boston fans just go nuts on Twitter. Like that's something that will make my day.
Oh, dude. Couldn't agree with more, man. Like nothing is tastier than New England tears. I'll say that much. Yeah, man. No, 100% agree. And I think with that, um, that's a good conclusion to today's episode, man. Just first and foremost, Woo, thank you so much for being here. Just absolutely loved having you as a guest. Love talking shop with you. Like, you know ball. Like, a lot of other people out there do not know ball, but you absolutely 100%
Appreciate you.
knower of ball, man. So absolutely loved having you. Loved all of this, man. And yeah, bro, we will keep a close eye on how everything happens. Dolphins off season, Miami in season, any trade deadlines, Inter Miami, a lot to go on, man. But yeah, so anyone listening,
Yeah.
make sure that you check out and tune into Woo's podcast when it drops. I mean, do you have a date for that we can promote?
Not yet, man. Just stay tuned. I hate being a perfectionist and changing up stuff. And I was telling John, like, I've changed my name, like my personal name, so many times, going back and forth, and I need to stop that. And I think this weekend kind of hit. I sat down with someone, and they were like, "Yo, if you gotta keep doing this, you're never gonna get it done." So, I need to, revisit back, going to all the stuff, and then just getting it done. So, I'm looking forward to it.
Love it, bro. Well, we're excited about it. We will share the shit out of anything that you put out.
I appreciate that, man.
And yeah, bro, looking forward to continue collaborating, man. Super
Yeah,
excited.
just want to say thanks, man. Thanks for having me on. You guys are doing a great job, bro. You guys are crushing it. And much success to you, man. Much success to this podcast and everyone listening. Go back, listen to all the other episodes. You know what I'm saying? And
Appreciate it, man.
thanks for having me.
All right, not a problem. All right, man. Episode 15, we will catch you guys next week. Take it easy.
Peace.